Hi everyone, I'm Janet McGowan with Open Fifth, and I'm here to talk to you about library hours. This is a feature that came in at 2405, but you might not have noticed it because it's a little bit tucked away in Koha administration in the library setting. It allows you to set opening and closing hours in your library policies. So it's really useful for hourly loans. And there's also additional enhancement, additional system preference that allows us to take into account how you might want those library hours to be to work with your due dates when you're issuing materials. So let's take a look. If I go to library administration and under libraries, where you may well have configured these for some time and not really looked at them in any great detail other than to maybe address maybe to adjust the addresses. You can see that there is a new section called library hours where you can define opening and closing times for your libraries. It's really straightforward to edit these under the actions menu. You can see we've got two sets of library hours set for these two different libraries. You just click through into the actions menu where you would go to edit your normal library policies, email addresses and so on, and you've got a section here for library hours where you can set opening and close times using the gadgets as you can see described here. You can still, of course, you'll be using tools and calendar dates to set close dates and so on. That's separate to this functionality. So we have these new library hour blocks in the administration and library setting, but there is also a system preference that you're going to want to take a look at. And under system preferences, I'm going to do a search for that. It's called Consider Library Hours in Circulation. So I'm just going to do a search for consider libraries to get there quickly. So here we have a new checkout policy, consider library hours in circulation. When checking out an hourly loan, that will be due after the library closes. What is our preference for handling that type of scenario? And we've got three different choices. The default is do not consider the library opening hours, so don't take those into account. But we have the option to shorten the loan period and set the checkout to be due at the library's closing time, or we can extend the loan period and set the checkout to be due at the library's open time. So both of those aspects look back to the library policy. So I'm going to leave this set at shorten the loan period and set the checkout to be due at the library's closing time. And with that in place, let's just see how that behaves. It's about 5:15 on a Tuesday evening. It's dark outside. I'm going to do a transaction. So if we just bear in mind that my library policy for the Centerville Library here was set to close at 6 p.m. Let's just do an issue to my user record. So let's just do a checkout to a patron that I've got set up here. So here's my borrower record. It's slightly different to the one that I put in here. So here's my borrower record that I'm using. And let's do a checkout for a short loan material. So in my circulation rules, I have an hourly loan circulation rule set up for a simple hour loan for whatever material you might choose to issue for an hour length of time. But of course, we have our library hours set. So if I now put in scan in my barcode or type it in, whatever. So I'm putting on my barcode for my hourly loan and check out that material. And we can see that it's taken that into account. So it's checked out my material to 6 p.m. It's a short loan item type, so it's looking back to my circulation rules, but it's also looking to the library hours for the Centreville Library. So a useful way of tracking materials and making sure your issues are due according to the hours that you're actually physically open in this instance. So have a look at the new system preference, have a look at newer library hours, and start using it for hourly loans. There's also a new table on the system that relates to library hours, and the new table, database table, is called branch_hours, and that's going to store in the daily opening and closing hours for anything that you've set in your administration policies. And that's about it, really. Given that it's dark outside, I'll go and put some more lights on. So thank you very much for listening, and speak to you soon. Bye.